All right. Welcome everybody back to the Anchored In podcast. I'm Cohen Ingram and I'm just alongside Jack Billings today. No Luke Fitzner. The fella is off to a Charlie Puth concert tonight. He's a busy man as always, but we're going to get a podcast episode out to you guys no matter what. It's been 2 weeks off. School's been busy. Our lives have been busy. We're trying to get as much done as possible while trying to get content out as well. So it's been hard. But we got a jam-packed episode for you guys today. Western Conference Finals, Eastern Conference Finals going down in the NHL. We had a little bit of coaching drama as well. NHL put a big stop to John Tortorella's shenanigans right at that instant. And Maple Leafs coaching hunt continues, man. It's a busy, I guess, leading into summer for the NHL, especially for Toronto Maple Leafs fans, which not many expected this early into the off season, but here we are. Where should we start, Billsy? Where should we start here, pal?
I mean, dude, I feel like I'm just shaking off the rust here. It feels like we haven't done one of these in forever, but I guess
I know
school's just
there's
been
so
bodying the fellas, man. It's okay. We're wrapping up here soon, so hopefully we'll be able to start pumping out the content again. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think let's start with the NHL playoffs.
Okay.
As of late.
What a movie it's been so far, though, man. Like, I guess we have to kind of start right off the gates whenever it comes to movies. Montreal versus Buffalo. I don't think we've had a podcast episode since the end of round one, like tickling into the beginning of round two. But Buffalo, Montreal was the last one to finish up, and for very good reason. It was just back and forth battles. Both home crowds were electric, even though the home ice advantage wasn't really there for either teams. But Billsy, let's just get your opinion on that round. Montreal coming out on top, the only Canadian team remaining, and they're going to the conference final.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's very obvious, and I think people that listen in and kind of watch our stuff know that I was a big supporter of the Sabres going forward here, and I liked what Lindy Ruff had put together. I like the style that they play in, and I don't know. I think the Sabres were a little hard done by here. I mean, they pulled off wins at the Bell Center in the playoffs, which I mean that alone is a big deal. And like I think where they kind of sort of faltered off a bit is just the streakiness of Alex Lyon and Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. I think that was kind of like the major issue, because on the other side of the coin, the Habs got a kid like Jakub Dobeš, who just like on like the highest kind of amount of confidence. Like, I don't know if you saw the interview, but after he won them another Game 7,
yeah,
he says, I could do another 40 of these. Like, I love Buffalo.
No,
I
did
love
see
the
that.
Buffalo
That's crazy.
fan. Yeah, I love the Buffalo fans heckling me. I love this, that, and the other. And that bodes well, because if your kid in the crease is that confident, and like that's makings of a goaltender that can steal you series, which he did multiple times. And I think that's just sort of the edge that the Canadians had here. It's just he's been lights out, right? So I don't know. It pains me to say it, but that was definitely a fun series to watch, man. It was so back and forth, and I just. Like I said, I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you.
I was gonna say, yeah. Like, just circling back, I think the Sabres were a little hard done by there. I think for their first playoff showing in so many years, I thought it was solid, right? And I think they're just gonna be right back there again next year.
I mean, the fan base is definitely itching for another playoffs, man. It's sad to see that fan base go, because they made a statement right at the beginning of round one, and they kept it going all the way through to the very end. And what a way for this series to end, too. An overtime game, and it's the Newfoundlander, Alex Newhook, finding the back of the net. What unreal playoffs he's been having. But also, we got to talk about this team in the Carolina Hurricanes that took down Fitzner's Ottawa Senators in a sweep, and then just took care of Philly like it was nobody's business. Felt like I didn't even really realize that series happened because of how quick it blew by.
Yeah, I think that just speaks to the playoff experience that these Canes have, right? Like, the style that they play. No, genuinely, like, it's just it's like through and through playoff style hockey. They just smother teams, and they've provenly done so in these first couple rounds here. And I don't know, man. I mean, it's funny, and I actually made the point today. I mean, obviously, Habs fans would argue with me. I mean, argue with a wall. I don't really care. But I think both of those series, for that matter, I mean, like the 9 shots in the Tampa game and you win game 7, like, come on. There were some of those games, and a lot of them, I'd say, actually, they didn't deserve to win. They won.
Definitely not game 7 around 2, dude.
Right, right. Like, you see what I'm saying? And like those big moments, like you
Yeah.
think to yourself, oh, they walked away kind of lucky with that. But I mean, I guess that's more of a testament to it because, like, in maybe they'll steal some of these games. I think that's one thing they have going for them when, like the Habs can get pumped, let's say, in the first game,
Yeah.
but they, which happened in both series for them, in the Tampa
Yeah.
Bay Lightning and the Buffalo Sabres, but they're just going to come right back into it. I think just the resiliency of these kids. It's like their mindset is so, like, they're never going to, like, lay down, which is which is genuinely what you need going deeper into the
Yeah.
playoffs. And like especially with a team like Carolina, that's, again, like, I think you can make the argument they haven't had like the toughest teams in the playoffs. I mean, and with all due respect to the Senators and the Flyers, I think there's some bigger fish out there in the playoffs.
Yeah. No, for sure. And I feel like, honestly, I think Philly gave it all they had in that Pittsburgh series. Battle of Pennsylvania is always going to be a big one for the Flyers, and I think they really put it all out there for round 1 and just had nothing left in round 2. But I heard today, I was talking to Evan, who's in the other room over there. If anybody can't tell, I'm not at my usual location because of just how busy school's been for us. But he said that he thinks Carolina is going to go 12-0 going into the Stanley Cup final. I don't think that's going to happen. But I mean, it would take an absolute miracle for that to happen. Let's all be honest. I think Montreal will be able to steal, I want to say 2 games. Like, I think they're going to push it to 6, but
Yeah, they're gonna steal a couple, man. Yeah.
I it's just, I don't know, the rest for Carolina is what scares me because they've been off for what, 2 weeks now almost?
Yeah, I mean, you
They've
can
been
twist that,
practicing, but
but you can twist it anyway because, you can say they're well rested because when you look at the
yeah.
the Habs, they just did back-to-back 7-game series. Maybe they're a little hard done by. Like, there's just no way to tell until we really get into the series. I think some of that might start bleeding through. A little bit of playoff fatigue might kind of come through, especially for the Habs, right? Because they haven't done this, right? They haven't, like, I mean, the COVID season, but who's counting that? The only people that count that COVID season are Habs fans.
Poor Carey Price, dude. This is last year.
Yeah, yeah. But
But
yeah, man. I mean, obviously anything's possible. It's the playoffs,
mhm.
for crying out loud. But no, I mean, like I said, I think the Canes had a bit of lower tier playoff teams in
Yeah.
those 2 sweeps, and I don't think the Habs are the kind of team that's gonna let a sweep happen, especially with Martin St. Louis behind the bench. I think what that guy's done and how he's kind of directing these boys, no, that's not gonna happen, man.
I mean, it's great also leading up into this series that there's a bit of a coaching rivalry going on too, like Rob Brendamore and Martin St. Louis,
Yeah.
who played against each other in the playoffs, are now battling it out behind the bench. Like, it's just, it adds on to the flavor that this 2026 NHL playoffs has brought us already. But again, you can say that these Canes matchups have been easy, but nobody expected them to sweep the Senators. Let's be honest. Like that
No,
in
no,
my
no,
eyes
no.
isn't
Yeah.
really an easy matchup because I'm pretty sure Owen Santos and Luke we might have even like kind of somewhat agreed with them on the point, but like if the Senators got past round 1, they were going to have the easiest path to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, I
But
think the West's a lot stronger than
obvious, yeah, it's
than
similar
the
in the
East.
NBA right now too.
Yeah. Um but no, like I remember saying, like, with the Sens, that was, if this can even be a thing, I remember saying, like, that's the closest sweep I've ever seen, because all of those games were so close, right? So there wasn't really any blowouts or anything like that. So it's just a bit of puck luck that went the wrong way, I guess, for Sens fans.
Well, there's been puck luck all around the playoffs. Don't get me wrong. I kind of do want to track back on that last goal for Buffalo that could have pushed them to the Eastern Conference Final that got waved off. That blew my mind, dude. How do you, one, I get it. Like, you're an official. You want to be on top of your game, especially whenever it comes playoff time. Like, you don't want to have any mistakes. But why are we, this isn't like Bantam hockey. We're not worried about a big fight happening in front of the net. What's the point of blowing the whistle literally 0.5 seconds after Dobish, or he loses sight of the puck because Dobish didn't even cover it?
You know what, man? I've given up trying to understand some of these calls because I'm never gonna understand it, and I think I've kind of come to terms with that over these last couple seasons. So it's just they just do whatever they want. I
It
don't.
wasn't even like it stopped momentum. Like, it wasn't even like it got caught up in his gear or anything. I think it was leaky Dobish and it slipped right through, but ref panicked and blew the whistle, and it costs Buffalo the game. I get, like, you can't say it, but
I'm
it was a big it was a momentum shifter in my eyes. Like, because
for
you
sure.
think about it,
There's
Montreal controlled that entire first period, and I was talking to Evan. I was like, I think Montreal might have this from, if they had this hot of a jump, like, they must have it for the next two periods as well. And then Buffalo came out firing in period 2 and period 3, but as soon as that goal got called off, game was back in Montreal's hands. Like, then it's Buffalo's back is back up against the wall, even though it's a tie ball game. And I guess if you're not much of a hockey fan, that game was like the peak explanation of how momentum shifts in hockey.
yeah, man. Like, talk about ice tilt between those teams, because
Yeah.
yeah, like you said, it looked like one was running away with it, and then it gets pulled back the other way for the other guys. Like, that's why I said it was so good, because it was such good back and forth hockey, and it was almost like, I mean, not to the same like physicality, but one of those like Panthers Lightning series with just galore of goals, just firing on both ends, and just good hockey, man. Just yeah,
I don't know if it's just because we're getting older, but these young stars are so fun to watch, man. Like, even looking at like Connor McDavid, you're used to it now. I mean, he has the unreal plays every single night, but it's Connor McDavid. Like, you scroll on Instagram and you see a highlight of him and you're like, oh, it's McDavid just back at it again. And then you see all the other highlights. These guys are 28 and under, and they're just running the show like it's nobody's business, and it's so fun to watch.
and I think it's funny, and you think back, we've with the McDavid thing, we've become so numb to it. Some of the things
Yeah.
this guy does, and for that matter, I mean, the skill across the league is amazing, but it happens so often now that like there's high ceiling skill level guys on almost every single team, right? And I think we're sort of getting too desensitized to some of these things that these guys are able to pull off. Like, I think we're in the heyday of hockey right now. And I
Most
mean,
balanced the league's been.
yeah, like I don't know. I'm having a hell of a time watching all this stuff, man.
Even from the start of the season, like, we were seeing teams that nobody expected to be at the top of the leaderboard, then be at the top of the leaderboard, and it stayed that way all throughout. Even looking back at round 1, who expected Utah? I mean, LA snuck in, but they've been in the playoffs pretty frequently. And then you have Pittsburgh, Philly,
The Ducks,
Buffalo, Ducks. Like,
like,
these are unreal teams that haven't been able to put on like a playoff performance in years. And now these young stars are starting to bring that era back to these cities. And it's honestly so fun to watch.
yeah, yeah, man. It's a good time to be a hockey fan, really. Like, it's all what
It's a
it
great
boils
time to
down
be a sports fan, man.
in general.
Like,
Yeah, I hear you.
just think about this weekend. Well, you got Paul Skeens coming to the city of Toronto. He's going to pitch. Montreal has their F1 event this weekend. Uh, Playoffs. Like, being a sports fan at this time of the year is unbeatable, and I think I've said this for countless years now. Like, the NHL playoffs, NBA playoffs, MLB, like, the summer sports are now starting up. We got Toronto Tempo now in Toronto, so like, it's going to be a busy summer for Toronto sports fans. World
Yeah,
Cup.
yeah, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I was just about to say you missed out the big one, but yeah, like it's awesome, and I think it's just awesome now that we're especially being in the school that we're in, we get to kind of really like dive in deep on all this stuff and sort of take it all in as we go, which is it's hard to do. It's hard to like stop by and smell the flowers and just think like even at the start of the year we got to write about the Jays in the World Series, and you know what I
Yeah.
mean, in our second month of school. Like not many people can say that, right?
Nobody can say it because the school wasn't around when the Jays were in the World
Yeah.
Series last. So, like,
Yeah,
yeah,
there you go.
I do think about that. It's a struggle living in this big city most days. But whenever you think about like the things that have come around in the city of Toronto since I've been here, it's been great. But I think we're getting a little bit sidetracked here. It's not a bad thing, but we do still have to talk about the Western Conference. Do we start on the Western Conference final matchup, or do we go into the Vegas Golden Knights situation right now?
That's up to you, man. Take it.
Let's just start from the past and work into the present, because John Tortorella just got fined $100,000 out of his own pocket, and the Vegas Golden Knights lose their second round pick in the 2026 NHL draft, all due to Tortorella neglecting media availabilities and basically telling all the boys who did go up on the mic and on to the press conference that they had 10 minutes and the bus was leaving, which, let's all be honest, everybody knew the bus wasn't actually leaving. John Tortorella is scary, but I don't think the bus driver's going to just leave Mitch Marner, who's the leading point scorer in the NHL playoffs in Anaheim.
Yeah, I made a point today in class that I like to refer to Vegas as the epitome of the middle child syndrome, because it seems this team cannot stay out of the media, and well, they don't
Never.
try to. It just seems like they, it dies down for a bit, and then, enter the LTIR nonsense with Mark Stone, enter
Yeah.
the signing of Carter Hart, this, that, and the other. Like it's just, it's crazy. These Golden Knights, they love the drama. They love the drama.
It's
That's why they're
Vegas,
hated
man.
across the league.
Vegas.
That's why they're hated across the league, because they're infamous for doing things that, like, admittedly some of the time aren't rule breaking. They like to find that little fine line. I mean, you look at with Vegas firing Cassidy, and then they won't let him interview anywhere.
Yeah.
And like they just got to have their fingers on everything, and I mean, really, you can't blame them, because any sort of edge that they can get, they've taken it
They're gonna
across
take
the league.
it, yeah.
And I think more teams should kind of strive to be able to do that, right? Like, you see teams, for example, like try and take pages out of the Florida Panthers book with their style of play, with the aggressive forecheck and all that good stuff. More teams should be taking out of pages of Vegas's book in terms of the front office and how they kind of handle things, because like I said, I mean, sometimes being in the headlines isn't always a bad thing, because there's always buzz, and clearly players want to play there, because it seems majority of the bigger fish in free agency or what have you end up in Vegas, and rightfully so, right? They've been a fantastic playoff team since joining the league. They've got great coaching, great lines, great this, that. You know what I mean? It's fair not to sort of like fan the flames a bit, but you gotta throw your hands up and recognize game at that point.
Do you think, like, I don't think this is going to be a setback at all for them leading into the Western Conference Finals, but the one thing the one thing I do have to note, though, is how is Evgeny Malkin, like, gonna tomahawk somebody over the head and get a $20,000 fine, and then Tortorella says that he's not speaking to the media, and he gets dished 6 digis? Dude, it's surprising what the maximum fine is for a player who makes double what a coach does. Like,
Yeah,
100,000, I get it. Like, 100,000 doesn't seem like a lot whenever you look at their contracts, but that's a chunk of change whenever John Tortorella is trying to retire, dude.
yeah, buddy. There's never been consistency in the league with player safety, with any sort of fining whatsoever.
No,
and I don't think that's
the
changing
fining is a
anytime soon.
joke. I don't think, like, the fines itself are a joke. Like, obviously there has to be a penalty, and you don't want these stars to be, like, off the ice in case if a fan wants to go watch them play, like, spent all this money to go watch them play, and now they're suspended. But man, it's so inconsistent. you see the greasiest play ever, and it ends up being a minimum fine. And then you see like verbal abuse to an official, and that's max. It doesn't add up.
Like, dude, I said it earlier in this pod. I give up trying to understand how the NHL is run with in certain aspects because you're never gonna win. I don't know if this is like a small brain for me, but I can't wrap my head around 95% of the decisions that they make.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's jump over to like the Western Conference final here because we got a doozy. These two are known, or right now I think they're up there as like the favorites to win the cup. Whoever comes out of this series alive. And Colorado's been hot, man. I don't know if you watched that game 5, but I posted on our Instagram story. I was like, this is the most unreal game I've seen in a long time. Avs were down 2 with the final 5 minutes left to go in the third, I think. And they pulled back. As soon as you get that first one in, you kind of realize, like, hey, this is possible. And they did it. Nathan McKinnon got his vengeance from the Olympics, missing that wide open net. And he gets a little cookie cutter top cheddar and forces OT. And man, just the play style of that team, they're so patient with the puck. It's great to see because you look at some of these other teams, like it seemed like Buffalo and Montreal in that game 7, both teams are panicking on the passes. Like there wasn't much setup going on. But Colorado, it just looks like they're cool, calm, and collected throughout the entirety of the 60 minutes, and it's something special to watch.
Well, dude, they've been there, done that, right? They've been such a juggernaut in the league for years, right? Like they're built to win, and I think this is another notch on their belt, like especially taking down Minnesota, which is Minnesota has been one of the top teams in hockey all year.
Yeah.
And arguably like it looks as if they almost did it single-handedly. And that just speaks volumes as to how good the Avalanche are, because the fact that they could do that to that team with like a cast of, guys like Boldy and Hughes and Wallstead and
Faber,
Kaprizov. You know what I mean? The list goes on and on and on. But I don't know, man. And I've said this and most people are saying this, obviously they're the best team in hockey, but that is the only scary team in the playoffs to me. If I'm matched up against the Avs, I don't like my chances if I'm any team. I think all these other ones, they're playoff caliber, but I just think I think the Avs are different gravy, dude.
For sure. No, I remember like halfway through the start of the season, I was like, the Avalanche are like the OKC Thunder of the NHL. Like they're always on a roll, and if they lose one, it doesn't last long. Like it's not a stinger. They're able to like get back on their feet and just keep the ball rolling. And honestly, I think they have this one over Vegas. Vegas has been tough. Like Mitch Marner, yes, I know. Former Leaf, we got rid of him, whatever. This guy's on fire. He seems like he's controlling the Vegas offense. Would have liked to see it a little bit at Scotiabank Arena whenever he had the blue sweater on in playoff time, but it's too late now. So,
you know what? And I do want to make a point about that. I think it's just a different system. I think I mentioned this on the last pod. Marner's playing in the bumper position for Vegas, which is not a position he played in for the Leafs, and he's getting like, it's obvious the kid can shoot the puck and he can score. I'm saying kid, we're like the same age. The fact of the matter is, I think he's just getting more runway in Vegas because the goal scorer in Toronto is Austin Matthews, and that was kind of his resume builder, and
yeah.
Mitch was kind of the guy, like the feeder. And I think that's just a different look in Vegas for him because he's been able to kind of step into his own and shoot the puck when he sees fit, right? And they're just using him in a different way. Not just better or worse, but I don't
out there
think
playing puck.
Yeah, and I don't think
hockey.
And I don't think it's to the point where because people are like, oh, why didn't you do this in Toronto? It's just a different system, man, different coaching, different atmosphere, different this, that, and the other. You can't, it's not apples to oranges. You know what I mean? It's a totally different thing playing for the Golden Knights as it is for the Leafs. I mean, hot take. No, like, you know what I mean? That's obvious.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just bugs me when people people rant and rave about that stuff. It's a totally different setup, totally different thing. You can't be the same player on every single team, is what I'm
And
saying.
I think the Leafs hopefully will see that next year whenever they get a little bit change in that structure. Like the dump and chase hockey one isn't fun to watch as a fan. It absolutely sucks. Leafs games might be one of the most, if you expand, like if you're a Leafs fan at home, expand and watch these other teams during the regular season and you will realize how slow Maple Leafs hockey is. And it doesn't have to be that way. Like these guys have, you've seen Nylander in the international stage go coast to coast like butter on toast. And instead he's dumping it at the red line and going for a line change every 45 seconds.
Yeah, I think you're going to see a lot of that sort of stuff change with Berube gone.
And
That's just Berube style hockey, man. And I can't wait. I can't wait.
Let's just use this as like a transition piece, obviously. Let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs coaching hunt. You got people like, in my eyes, best option on the board, David Carl, Denver head coach. This guy is in the NCAA. He's been consistent. I think he's had 1 year under 500, and that was the COVID year when they had 20 games played. In the past 3 years, he has a national title, a loss in the national final, and then this year he picked up his second national title. And then you look at his World Junior stats with Team USA. Like, this guy is an absolute dog whenever it comes to teaching young group of guys. And whenever you look at that NHL paycheck, I think it's enough to say yes, especially when you have a working piece like Gavin McKenna in front of you. I think the Leafs have to go in a young coaching route because you have to have a player's coach. I think I might have said this in an episode or it might have been on a radio show at school, but you need a guy that's going to connect with these young players and the young players not really be, I shouldn't say afraid of them, but like have a negative mindset on the coach because that will instantly just throw everything straight in the shitter.
Yeah, man. I don't know. I think the main one that kind of jumps off the paper to me is Jay Woodcroft because he's known as like a modern player friendly kind of guy, and I mean he's done well. He's been the assistant coach for the Ducks, and the Ducks had a hell of a season. And I think that's with help with help of him as well, obviously with Joel Quenneville. But I think he's kind of proven himself as he coached fantastically for like unlocking career high offensive years for McDavid, Draisaitl, Nuge. And I think that's the kind of coaching that Leafs need. It's offense first, and I think that's what you're gonna see him kind of using Matthews as to how he should be, like a goal scorer. And I think you're gonna see a lot of different offensive metrics really rise for the Leafs if they hire a guy like Woodcroft, man. It's that whole run and gun kind of hockey that I think the Leafs strive off of. With look at how well those guys played under Keefe, because that's how Keefe coaches too. And I don't know, like you tried the defensive thing in Berube. It was boring hockey. None of the guys were up
boring.
to and none of the guys fit the bill either. And that was the problem. I mean, you needed a certain cast and supporting cast of players that can kind of do that sort of hockey, and none of which did so. So yeah, that's why I'm so huge on Jay Woodcroft, just because I think that all these guys kind of, not all, but majority of would kind of fit the mold that he kind of implements into his game. And I mean, that's the clear-cut choice for me.
I see where you're coming from, and I guess it might just be me being a younger guy and like kind of trying to feel like from a player's mindset. I just want to see a fresh face, man. Like the coaching switches in Toronto, like we've tried it with the playoff experience. We've tried it with, we had Mike Babcock, who was unreal all the way up until he got to the Leafs. Like his time with Detroit was unreal. And then Keefe, he had his run with New Jersey after he left the Leafs. Yeah, man, it's just, I want to see a new face. And I think David Carl, it's his time to come up to the show. Like he's proven that he can be at this level, but it's just like, I don't know how much they're getting paid down in the NCAA to be a coach. With the NIL money now, like they can just feed a coach whatever.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a huge risk-taking kind of person, so
But
that's
you kind of
why
have to take a risk now, though.
No, yeah, I know. I just think that might be too much of a risk because he hasn't proven himself at the NHL level, and I mean, dude, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. I think you just gotta kind of go with it and agree with it, whatever happens, right? Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I said, I'm sticking to my guns on the whole Woodcroft thing, and I don't think Carl is a poor choice at all.
No,
Like
dude, just look at his resume. Like,
he's
there's nothing that's gonna concern people leading up until his actual performance in the show.
yeah. I think the only part where it falters off for me is just the lack of experience in said show,
Right.
and that's me being a little scaredy cat.
I also wonder if, like, these younger players that are obviously going to be trade pieces for these other teams, like, you got to think about the guys that are succeeding on Denver now that are now going to be drafted. Would they not want to then go to Toronto to be with their old head coach that is such a great like, does coaching have
Maybe
that much of a factor in NHL trades? Like,
I think it does to a certain extent, but I mean, I think we'd be lying to ourselves here if a lot of players openly
want to go to
I,
Toronto? Yeah.
want to play in Toronto. It's just like
Yeah.
I think like you know they kind of paint that in the media. There's a lot of players like, oh, I grew up being a Leafs fan. I mean, a lot of
Marshy.
yeah, well, so many of them did. I mean, with Marshy doing that, he's just trying to plug at the heartstrings. That's all he's doing. He's infamous for that, and he's
That was the
always done
funniest
crap
shit
like
ever.
that. I know, but like I don't I don't pay too much mind to stuff he says because he's really just trying to get people going, and power to
Like
him. I
you?
mean, I think yeah. I think that's awesome. But no, man, I think coaching is it definitely is. That'd be nice for players, but I don't know if it's like a main selling point to play
Yeah,
in
because
Toronto
then you got
because
to think,
it's
like, people would be wanting to go to Tampa with that low tax, and then you have John Cooper behind the bench. Like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't think it has that much of an impact. Like in the NBA, it had a little bit of an impact at some point, I believe. But yeah, I think for the NHL, the coaching is just more for like the players that are on the team to stick around.
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I think like once a relationship is built, you're gonna have some sort of loyalty lying with that coach or whatever. But I don't think it's guys like it's not. I don't think it's that high up players lists. If I'm honest, I don't.
Well, we all know that the move of Craig Berube had a little bit to do with Austin Matthews or these star guys like sticking around or wanting to put the effort in on the ice. And I'm excited to see what this. I shouldn't say excited. There's a little bit of worry here on what this front office is going to do for the Leafs because it just find like Leafs are going to find a way to mess something up. I shouldn't say mess it up, but like there's going to be a little bit of a heart dropping moment. I feel like in this offseason, and then once the season starts, it might get back up to float. But it's going to be an interesting offseason for sure.
Yeah, at this point, man, I'm interested to see what John Chayka can pull off. Really, really, wholeheartedly. I am excited, man. I am.
You can, yeah. I don't know how excited they were, dude. During the draft lottery, it seemed like Matt Sundin was shitting his pants that they got the first overall pick.
Yeah, because I mean, it'd be so sick if they went Stenberg, dude. But
Don't say that shit.
why?
Don't. I don't know. It's either McKenna or a D-man in my eyes. Like, we got the European guy in Nylander, and I think Gavin McKenna, if he's going to fight people at the bar, he's got to fight people on the ice, and him and Nyes dropping the mitts, like, and performing offensively, I think that's a good mix.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like
There
Stenberg
needs
more
to be
personally.
physicality in these European guys. Like, you have the rats like Rasmus Dahlin in the mix there, but like a lot of them are playmakers and they're not going to get physical. And I think the Leafs need physicality because you've seen what happened at the end of last year. Easton Cowan starts playing slap fight in the corner, and all of a sudden they start winning games.
I just don't think Kevin McKenna's doing that. I don't think that's an asset he's bringing to the team. I don't think he's cracking skulls. That's
He's got
not.
to be like Bobby. He's got to be like Bobby Boucher, man. If the whole bar fight situation was because somebody made a comment about his mom, just
Yeah.
imagine Bobby Boucher out there.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting, and I don't know how to feel about it now that I'm talking about it on the podcast. But man, we're already at the 40-minute mark. We've only been talking about hockey. I mean, we can tickle into the Blue Jays, but everybody knows how the Blue Jays season is going right now. It's not a season until everybody's back on the roster, and it seems like that's not going to happen until at least the All-Star break. So it's, man, are you stressed at all about the Blue Jays start of the season?
I'm not stressed just yet. I think we're kind of ushering into please win territory and not must win. We're not there
Right.
yet. But no, man, obviously this isn't what you want to see. It's just, and I think especially like highlighting Vladdy Jr., you got to hope that he's going to kind of light it up in the Bronx like he normally does to turn this around, because if he
Yeah.
doesn't, it leaves more and more room for concern. If this keeps on, man, it's spooky hours. I haven't felt good about a lot of the stuff from this team going forward. Yes, a lot of them are hurt, and where I can understand that. It's just, I don't know. Any of like the wins aren't convincing. They're struggling against. It's just, I don't know. Something's not sitting right with me. Um, and again, maybe it's because of the injuries, but it this just doesn't look like a team that was in the World Series last season. And
No, and
like,
I think one of the biggest factors that come with that, if you look at their regular season performances last year, they were able to crawl back whenever they were down. And now it seems whenever they get down early in a game, it goes downhill like really fast. They're able to get some tight losses here, but I feel like the other ones, if it's not a win, they're down by 6 going into the ninth. Like it's not a pretty picture, and obviously that leads into the bullpen being abused. And that's the way it's been so far at the start of the season. It seems like, dude, the bullpen is getting at least half the game now. You're not gonna get your starter to go out past 6.5 innings. Like,
yeah, dude, they're getting pumped by so many teams. And I don't know, man, it's frustrating to see. I mean, obviously Dylan Cease has been fantastic, and
yeah.
I love Dylan Cease, but I need more than just Cease. I mean, Gosman's been fantastic too. So but then it kind of falters off after that, man.
Mm.
Like,
The bats were hot early on to start the year. Like everybody was in the 300 range, but now I think they're like Ernie Clement's leading the league in batting average with a 295 right now. So, like, whenever you're not getting home runs from your home run hitters, you expect their batting average to at least crawl up a little bit. But Vladdy's at the same batting average as last year. And yeah, he didn't have many home runs last year, but now he has 3 this year. So it's
dude,
something's not right there.
well, and I think, like, I mentioned this before, that a lot of the time traditionally pitchers were walking a Vladdy purely because of the power that he could get off the bat. But I remember saying with Okamoto coming into the lineup, pitchers would be forced to pitch to Vladdy because you don't want to put Vladdy on first and then you have Okamoto in behind. So they're pitching to Vladdy, and it's driving me nuts because they're pitching to him and he's not hitting the damn ball.
Yeah. No, at the
Like
start of the year, he was getting walked in those like crucial moments, and now nobody's really like. There's no fear
they're not
in any
scared
of
of him.
that
Yeah.
batting lineup. In anywhere's in that batting lineup. I mean, Okamoto's the most feared person now, and yeah, man,
It's not
it's
enough. It's not enough, man. I mean, you look at the home runs. Okamoto's got 10, and then the closest behind him is Andres Jimenez with 5. Like, it's just,
Jimenez.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly. Andres
that's
Jimenez. The guy's 5'8", and he's 180 soaking wet, and he's
yeah,
second on the team in homers,
yeah,
which
man. And Vladdy's
would.
only got 3, and he's in the company of Ernie and George Springer. Like,
And
Vladdy's
Ernie
got to
got
be
his first one
way
like a week
higher up that
ago.
list.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. Like I
Varsho has
said, like I said,
5.
it's not um must win, but uh
Please win.
please win at this point. Um, but yeah, I'm
Anybody on the
not
Jays, yeah.
I'm not waving the white flag just yet, but it's
No.
it's not headed in the right direction at all.
But if you look at a lot of these like big teams from last year, like a lot of them are shitting the bed early on in this season. And I think with the MLB, with its 162 game season, the white flag shouldn't even be in question until after the All-Star break. Like if you're cruising around the bottom of your division and at the end of the All-Star break, like then you're hanging it up a little bit. But
Do you
yeah,
know what's a point I want to make? And I think
so
this really speaks to how huge Alejandro Kirk is to this team. Because without the framing of him in behind the dish, like they really faltered off and dropped so many games without him.
yeah,
And
and go on.
that's the thing, like that's how huge he is to that team. And I don't I don't know, man. I don't know what to say at this point. I'm getting a little nervy for the boys.
And I guess, like, thank God you brought that up, because I was scrolling on TikTok the other night and I just, like, my head just started boiling, because I look at the comments of, like, these Brandon Valenzuela highlights. Don't get me wrong, this guy's a young star and I'm sure he's going to do great things for the Blue Jays and be that backup. And I know he's going to replace Heineman whenever Kirk comes back. But there's everybody in there and they're like, wow, this guy's so great. Like, it's such a blessing that he's back there and Kirk's not. Like, he's so much fast. He's not faster than Kirk. He's the same speed as this guy. And his defense, yes, he's a switch bat, but his defense is nothing near Kirk. And I guess you can say, yes, the framing is now kind of not so much an aspect of the game, because if you have a guy that knows his strike zone well, he's going to challenge the shit out of everything. But, dude, look back at the postseason. How many strikes did Kirk give to the Jays? This guy's the best framer in the league, and that's one of the biggest tools that comes with being behind the dish.
Yeah, I think, and that's what I'm saying. I think you can attribute majority of their struggles to the absence of Kirk. Really, like, you see how huge of a piece he is.
The only thing that I think Valenzuela might have above Kirk on the defensive side of the baseball is the throwdowns. And even then, like, you see the Tampa Bay Rays, man. You're not going to catch any of those guys on base. Chandler Simpson, like, that team, I think
Speedy.
at least 5 of their guys are going to swipe a bag on you, and you have to be worrying about them every time they're on base. They're going to be a powerhouse this year, and I think Brandon Valenzuela got tested early on in his career facing the Rays, and man, he's promising. But yeah, you're right. Like, Kirk is such a big presence on that team. And honestly, I think Barger's in that boat as well. You talk about the home run race, and Barger's the heaviest hitter on that team, I'd say. Look at the size of that guy. He looks kind of tiny
yoked.
on... He looks kind of... If you watch it on Sportsnet, like, the size isn't accurate at all. Like, I feel like he struggles to get through most modern door frames, and
easily.
there's a lot of power.
Easily.
There's a lot of power there. And man,
Dude,
like, the one game
he's got a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, I was gonna say, the one game he returned off injury, lasers the guy at third, and then he gets injured from it. So not a hot start to, like, an early career for the guy, but God, I hope he heals up soon.
Yeah, it's just this is the whole story this year. It's just injury bug, injury bug, injury bug, and
yeah,
there's no way around it. So I don't know, tough mountain to climb.
It's a tough mountain to climb, but the boys here at Anchored In Podcast are rooting for the Bluebirds all season long, without a doubt. Do we wrap it up here? I mean, we're at the 40-plus minute mark. I get it. Yeah, we haven't had a podcast in 2 weeks' time, but a lot of the big news, like the draft lottery, is a little bit too late for us to make comments on. As much as we wish we were able to get a podcast out for you guys after that big news, it was a tough day. So, yeah. I think that's going to do it all. Anything you'd like to add, Jack, before we wrap it up?
No, I just wanted to say it was nice to be back and, talking sports with the boys. So it was...
Do I see...
It's nice to get back into the role of things, for sure.
Do I see if Luke's still around, or...
What's that?
I think he's here. I think Luke's here. I don't know. I was hearing him during the talk. I'm going to bring the mic with me. I'm on a travel. So everybody on YouTube's about to see me leave this room. Okay, Jack, one sec.
Mobile. We're going mobile.
Fitzy. Fitzy. It's been a long day. Oh, he's not here. All right. Well, I wanted him to say goodbye, or at least give a little bit of
awkward. That's brutal.
Piece of info on the Charlie Puth concert that he's about to head to. But what a national anthem on that guy, by the way.
You're telling me.
Beautiful camera work by whoever did that flyover transition too. That, as a fellow cameraman, that blew my mind, not blew my eyes. Jeez, that would not be good. All right, let's just wrap this one up. I'm starting to feel like we're getting to the point where we yap until the 15-minute mark and then finally wrap it up, but we'll just get it done now. Thank you guys so much for sticking around till the very end if you did. And yeah, we're going to try to keep the pod consistent. We're into our last week of school. All the university folks are already home chilling, but we're grinding away for this final month of May. Yeah, we'll try to keep the podcast as consistent as possible. Money's tight, so we're not able to get as much content out for you guys, but we're trying to work around it and keep this thing afloat. So thank you all for the support, and we'll try to get back to you guys next Thursday for episode number 13 of the Anchored In podcast. See you guys next time.